Hi guys, I want to showcase you a system that saved 4 hours of daily manual work for a client, which means a total of 80 hours per month. The client was researching for news that were posted in the last 24 hours, and he was going through around 50 websites. For certain websites, he was searching for certain keywords, which led to a total of around 70 web pages that he had to look through the news and extract the relevant ones. As setup, I created a Google Sheet document with a bunch of tabs, and each tab have a list of websites to be scraped and the corresponding keywords to be searched for when needed. In terms of the system, I have different workflows that are implemented for the different tabs in the Google Sheet doc, but the workflows are around 90% to 95% the same, with just some small adjustments. The system basically retrieves the list of websites from the Google Sheet doc that need to be scraped, then scrapes all the web pages. From the scrape content, it extracts the relevant information, which is the list of news. This list of news then is fed into an AI agent that analyzes the information and retrieves only the news that were posted in the last 24 hours. Then that list of extracted news is fed into a second AI agent that has the role to eliminate the duplicates based on the title or the excerpt. And finally, uploads the news into the Google Sheet doc. Now I will run the system and then I will explain it to you in more details. Initially, I set the time window that the agent needs to look for the news, which in this case is 24 hours. Then I extract the list of websites or web pages from the worksheet. Then it filters out the URLs that have been checked in the last 24 hours. Then the workflow splits in two flows, one for the web pages that just need to be scraped and one for the websites that are required to be searched using a list of keywords. In the last case, the search URLs are composed for each of the keyword in the list. You can see the final composed URL and the keyword. Then I merge the entire list of URLs to be scraped, and then on the scraping side of things, some websites are more difficult to be scraped. So for this, I needed to use a scraping service, which have an API. But even so, for some websites, the scraping method had to be more advanced in order to pass their security rules. For this, have a check for the special URLs, and the others will go into a normal HTTP request node, which then either retrieves the scraped content if it's not done successfully, or it will go through scrape.do, which is the external API scraping service that I use, and which I also highly recommend because they have 1,000 free credits per month, which reset every month, and in some cases, 1,000 credits are more than enough. For the special cases, is just a different request to scrape, one do service with different parameters, but that requires extra credits, so I consume more credits with those special cases. That's why I don't use that kind of request for all the websites. Now the next step after all the content from the script pages is merged together is to extract the relevant information, which is basically the list of articles. In the extract HTML node, I set a list of CSS selectors to target only the useful information. Then there is an AI agent that reads the extracted content and retrieves the news that were published in the last 24 hours with a given structure and format. The user prompt, which just inputs the information from the previous nodes. Then the system prompt is a little bit more detailed on how to extract the information, how to avoid certain errors in the response format. The structure is compound by title, the URL, the published date, the summary, and the keyword it was searched for when it is the case. I'm using Gemini because for the first time, DeepSeek didn't perform very well for this use case. I also have a think tool that some LLMs use it successfully, like TipSeek. Gemini, I've noticed it doesn't rely on this tool. Basically, this tool allows the agents to think truly and deeply about the current task or the step where they are at that moment. Some websites don't have news published in the last 24 hours. In the end, I have one list with all the found news. In this case, there are only 5 news because I limited the workflow initially to 2 websites to be scraped. And I did that for testing purpose, of course. Then I have a node that formats certain information in the list of news. This list is then aggregated in order to be fed in the second AI agent, which removes the news that are duplicated. In this case, for the testing, it's just 5 news, so pretty much no chances to find duplicates. But usually there are 40 to maybe 80 news in total. And because on certain websites, some of the keywords that I search for can return some common articles, the job of this agent is to remove those duplicates and retrieve a final list of unique articles. The system prompt gives the instructions how to parse and process the list and how to return the output in the same structure and format. Then I split out that response from the agent into a list of items that will be inserted in Google Sheet Doc. And at the end, the list is aggregated into one item in order to trigger an email notification only once that the workflow finished. You can see in the Worksheet tab the 5 news that were found and the date when the articles were posted. That's it for this video.